Adam, let's do a podcast.
Okay, go for it. Wait, hang on, Mark.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
There we go.
Every day is filled with choices. You're here because you're choosing to start with a win. Get ready to be inspired, learn something new, and connect with the Win Nation.
Coming to you from Start With a Win Studios, it's Adam Contos, CEO of RE/MAX, here with Start With a Win, and producer Mark. Hang on.
Oh.
How you doing, buddy?
So good. Now that I've heard that. Hey, I got something here. I got Brand Viva podcasting cards.
Oh, whoa.
Better conversations, one card at a time. That's my little...
It's like a game.
Oh,
it's like a family game.
Yeah, we got our cards here. I'm pretty good at shuffling, so watch out. Okay.
Are they going to go flying everywhere?
No. They shouldn't. Okay. All right, so here we go. We got two kinds of questions here. We have would you rather questions or open-ended questions. It's your lucky day.
Wow.
It is an open-ended question. So, who is your oldest friend and where did you meet them? I guess that could go kind of two ways, right? Like, on one hand, it could be like you have a friend who's like 100 years old. What about you? Do you have a super old friend or a friend that you've known for the longest that you still stay in touch with?
I do have a friend who's like 86 years old. His name's John. Cool dude. And I'll tell you, you're like, holy smokes, is this guy? I mean, he's like just like a freight train. He's just like chugging down the road of life, keeps going, and pretty cool. And then the friend I've had the longest here in Colorado, I actually went to preschool with him.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay, you got me
James,
beat then.
Yeah, look at me. Look at the gray. That was a long time ago. So I mean, we haven't seen each other in person for quite some time, but I see him on Facebook, and I know he sees me on Facebook, things like that. And I'm actually still, because I grew up in the Denver area, I still have a lot of very close friends that I was in elementary school with.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
That still live around the area here, and I run into on occasion. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, right? You see each other, and it's like, hey, what's up? You just have this instant connection, and then it's like it's okay if you don't see each other or talk for a while, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
And then I just have these friends from different experiences in life that some of the experiences are more deep than others. Like my law enforcement life, some of those friends you were in really, really bad situations with.
Right.
And there's this bond that is formed in like a combat situation that you'll never forget. And I've got quite a few of those. I run into them every now and then around the community, at the gym, things like that. And then I also have some friends that I spend a significant amount of time with that have meant a lot in my life, like Dave Linegar, for instance.
He's a good friend.
So,
yeah.
Oh, totally. Great friend.
That's awesome.
It's a cool question. It kind of touches your heart when you think about it, when you start thinking about all those friends. So thank you for sharing that, Mark.
Hey, yeah, my pleasure.
So, hey, Mark, we talked about friends. Do you want to talk? Friends are good thoughts, but we go through stressful situations with our friends. And I have my spa thing here.
Your de-stressor.
Talking about stress. Yes. But I want to talk about going to the spa, but I want to talk about stress. Okay. I mean, kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, but I don't mean like literally going to like this kind of spa where it smells like eucalyptus and we sit on rubber mats on the floor and things like that. So before we talk about stress, I did a little research on stress.
Okay.
I like to research the things I talk about. And Merriam-Webster dictionary, they basically, I mean, if you look it up in Webster's dictionary, it basically talks about pressures or focusing on something. So if you think about like adding weight to something, that's a pressure, right? And that creates stress. Or pressures emotionally, that creates stress. Or actually like focusing on a point, like I'm stressing that point. So it mostly talked about those things in general. But the reality is that I'm not quite sure that I fully agree with those, because I think it's deeper than that. I think it's deeper than putting pressure on or focusing on. What I found this other definition from Very Well Mind as a website. It's kind of I think a yoga type, holistic type thing. But stress can be defined as any type of change that causes physical, emotional, or psychological strain. Stress is your body's response to anything that requires attention or action. Attention or action. And it says your body's response to anything that requires attention or action. So think about that when we talk about stress, because we do a lot of thinking about stress in our lives, and we think about, oh my gosh, this is stressing me out. Have you ever seen somebody say that? Or maybe you've mentioned it yourself?
Yeah. I'm so stressed right now. This is totally stressing me out.
And what are we focusing on when we're talking about that?
The stress?
The negative,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yes. What are you focusing on? And how do you take and turn stress into something good? Because ultimately, when we think about the word stress, we think about something bad and we blame, which is our default. But the reality is, blame is natural, but you got it backwards. Blame is supposed to come last. What do we blame in order to fix, right? So I want to kind of dig into that a little bit. But ultimately, stress in and of itself, when you sit in stress, is not necessarily good for you. But when you move from stress, it's good for you, because it's an interesting concept. I looked into the psychology of this, but I want to start with one thing, and that's that we have to deal with stress. If we avoid stress, we cause depression. Okay? So running from stress causes depression. It's been proven. If you try, so those that lock themselves up in a dark room and go, I'm not going to deal with it, that's actually where depression comes from.
Interesting.
A lot of times. So I found a quote by our friend James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits. And this is really good. The anxiety of worry is almost always worse than the actual consequences. Stop worrying and start doing. Here's an interesting thing. I'm gonna read a little excerpt here from a Berkeley associate professor. It says, "You always think about stress as a really bad thing, but it's not." It says Daniela Koffer, associate professor of integrative biology at the University of California, Berkeley. Quote, "Some amounts of stress are good to push you just to the level of optimal alertness, behavioral, and cognitive performance." Kaufer noted that exposure to acute, intense stress can sometimes be harmful, leading, for example, to PTSD. Further research could help to identify the factors that determine whether a response to stress is good or bad. Quote, "I think the ultimate message is an optimistic one," she concluded. "Stress can be something that makes you better, but it is a question of how much, how long, and how you interpret or perceive it." I think that last part is the most important aspect. How do you interpret or perceive it? Because we can all deal with different levels of stress, but we have to deal with stress in order to be better. Creating stress and dealing with it creates problem-solving capability. So I came up with this acronym, and it has to do with the SPA.
All right. I love a good acronym.
Okay. So, and it's SPA, S-P-A.
Okay.
S-P-A. How do I deal with stress? That's ultimately what we should be thinking about. How do I deal with stress? Because if you try to avoid stress, you're going to find depression. We've established that. But is there a way to win from stress? Because I look at stress as opportunity. I'm programming myself every single day. Stress equals opportunity. Stress equals opportunity. Stress equals opportunity. And what we think about, we can create results from. What we focus on, I'm stressing that, we can create results from. So here's a very simple formula. Stress, planning, action.
Ooh, I like that.
SPA, stress, planning, action. And I used to teach personal safety courses all the time. And that was, observations, options, actions. Observations, options, actions. It's the same thing. Stress, planning, action. So ultimately what we have to do is we have to figure out a way in order to go from I'm overwhelmed to I have a plan. But if you just sit there and go, this sucks, and you never get to planning or options, you can never take action. But it was, like Eisenhower, I think it was Eisenhower that said during World War II, it's not the plan that is so valuable, it's the action of planning that is invaluable. Because that causes thought, creates thought, and it helps you work your way through the situation. Therefore, you have action to take. Action overcomes stress. Action overcomes stress. What perpetuates stress? Reviewing the stressful act or the stressful environment and worrying about it. So that's, when you think about life in general, how do we create success? The most successful people on this planet have incredible stress on them. Mm-hmm. Incredible stress. Here's the thing, you're not going to get rid of your problems, but you can turn them into opportunities. They're always going to grow.
Yeah.
They're always going to grow. So we have to make a trip to the spa when we have this stress. Stress, planning, action. And ultimately, what is stress? Stress is the emotion of fear also, right? Mm-hmm. It's worrying about the unknown future. How do you overcome fear? Action.
Well,
simple formula.
Simple spa. We got to go to the spa more often. Everybody's got to go to the spa.
And get one of these handy little things while you're at it. You know what this does? This is like a mind trigger. When you get to the yoga room, the spa, whatever, and you close your eyes, you take a couple deep breaths, and they go. It's kind of clarifying.
It does. It gets you right into that headspace.
Yeah, and then it's fascinating. You got to create a trigger for yourself because stress is going to happen. You know what I do? I always create a trigger for myself, and that trigger is generally like some piano music or something like that. Like I've
Baroque
here. Yeah.
Oh,
I've got a little bit going here.
I like that.
I just put this on. How can you not be happy with that going on?
You can't. It lifts your spirits. Yeah. And then maybe you ring that bell on top of that piano. You just got that for free, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, there we go.
That's good.
I feel good. I feel good now.
Hey, I'm ready to record another podcast. So,
right on. All right. Well, Mark. Hey, I got a question for you.
Yep.
How do you start your day with a win, buddy?
My day starts at the gym. So my feet hit the floor. I have my bag packed from the day before, and I head to the gym, and that gives me a solid, usually an hour and a half, 2 hours to just think about my day, think about things that are going on, and kind of center myself to take things on. So,
Mark,
yeah,
thank you for being on Start with a Win today.
Hey, man, I'm here every day. Hey, and everyone who tuned in on Facebook, thank you guys for popping over and saying hi and checking us out. If you want more video content of Start With a Win, head over to YouTube. You can get condensed versions of the show, and you can also catch us when we go live, just like this, over on YouTube. Also, if you're curious about other types of content and blog posts and resources, things like that, head over to startwithawin.com. And we don't get many voicemails, but we do get some from time to time. But if you'd like to maybe call and give us your Start With a Win story, you can leave us a voicemail at 888-581-4430. Adam, people can find you on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, pretty much anywhere. So until next time, Start with a win.